Hi everybody, welcome to Shelby Loves Crochet. We're going to do something a little different today. I'm going to do a bit of a tutorial. So the granny square is a really good staple, a really good starting point of learning to crochet. It's really versatile. You can make loads of things from it, you know, cushions, bags, cardigans, whatever you want really. So I'm going to show you how to make a granny square today. I'm going to show you a magic ring. I'm going to show you double crochet, which is the stitch that we use. And then at the end of this video, you should have a granny square. Now I'm using super bulky yarn, super chunky yarn, and a 10mm crochet hook. That's why my square is so big. If you're using double knit or Aran, for double knit, I'd say use between a 4 and a 5mm hook. For Aran, a 5 to a 6.5. But if you're just starting off, any wool you have and any hook you have will be fine. And as you get better and progress more through your crochet journey, you'll know what hook and what yarn weight you'd like to use. Okay, so we're going to begin by making a magic ring. So to make a magic ring, take the yarn and wrap it around 2 of your fingers, and then when you get back to the front, you want to cross over. So cross over and then go to the back of the first strand. And then you're going to want to take your crochet hook and go under the first strand, and you want to hook the second strand and pull it out under the first one. And then you need to twist your hook down and up forwards towards you to make a loop on the hook. And then you can release your fingers from the yarn and then kind of all steady it up a bit. It is a bit wobbly at this stage, but don't worry, it will take shape. Now from this point, you're going to want to chain. That's to make your first double crochet post. That's how you go up to the next level to begin. So to chain, you just want to wrap the yarn from the back of the hook to the front and then pull through the loop that is already on the hook, and that's chain 1. So to chain another one, wrap the yarn from the back to the front. I'm just doing it a different method there. It's exactly the same, it's just a different way of holding the yarn, but you can find a way that suits you. And that's our chain 3 done. So I'm just saying there, wrap the yarn from the back to the front. Now we need to start our double crochets now. So each section, each little cluster is made up of 3 double crochets. We have 4 clusters, they're all made up of 3 double crochets. So that is the first double crochet, that is the second double crochet, and that is the third double crochet. So each cluster on every row, on every granny square you make, will always have 3 double crochets as a cluster. So we are going to start making our first cluster of 3 double crochets. So to do a double crochet, you want to wrap the yarn, and you're going to want to put your hook through the magic ring and then catch the yarn with your crochet hook and pull it back through your magic ring, and you will have 3 loops on your hook. And then you're going to want to wrap the yarn, wrap the yarn, and then pull through 2 loops, wrap the yarn again and pull through the 2 loops. So you're back to 1 loop on your hook. You always want to end with 1 loop on your hook. Now let's do another double crochet. Wrap the yarn from the back to the front, and then you want to go through the magic ring, catch the yarn with your hook, pull it through to the front. So you've got 3 loops on your hook again. and then wrap the yarn and pull through the first 2 loops, wrap the yarn over and pull through the last 2 hoops. Now on the first cluster that you do, you only need to do 2 double crochets, as the first chain 3 will act as your first double crochet. So when you're starting a project or you're beginning a new round, you only need to crochet 2, because the chain 3 will act as your post. So now we need to get around the corner, and to get around the corner we are going to need to chain 3 to get us around the corner onto the other side of the square. Now to chain, you just need to wrap the yarn and then just straight pull through the loop on the hook. So that's chain 1, wrap the yarn, pull through the loop on the hook, that's chain 2, wrap the yarn, pull through the loop on the hook, that's chain 3. So that is our chain 3 that we've done. That's it. Just make sure your magic ring is okay and your tension is comfortable. So we're going to now start in the second cluster of 3 double crochets. So we're just doing double crochets like we did before. So that's it. I'll just finish that stitch. Right, so to do a double crochet, we wrap the yarn and we go through the magic ring, we catch the yarn with our hook and we pull it back through to the front of the magic ring, 3 loops on our hook, and then we hook the yarn, we pull through 2 loops, we hook the yarn and we pull through 2 loops. I've just done it a different method there, but it's the same thing, but you will find as you go on what you find more comfortable doing. And now we're doing the 3rd double crochet, so we wrap the yarn, go through, hook it, pull through, wrap the yarn, pull through 2 loops, wrap the yarn and pull through 2 loops. And now we've done 2 clusters and now we're at the second corner. So to get around that corner we need to chain 3. And then we've got 2 more sections to do and I'll meet you back at that last corner. So here we are back at the last corner, and to join back to the beginning we just need to do a slip stitch. And to do a slip stitch you just need to find the hole underneath the stitch. There, the stitches have 2 lines at the top. So there's the hole. Just stick your hook in there, grab the yarn, pull through, and then pull straight through the stitch on your hook. That is a slip stitch. So to keep granny squares nice and neat, rather than ending there, it's always nice to slip stitch to the next corner. So just find the holes underneath the stitches. There's one there right in front of my hook. You can see the stitches where you have the 2 lines together on the top. That's the top of the stitch. So it's those 2 strands of yarn that you want to go in underneath. So just go through and then hook the yarn, come back out, and then just go straight through the loop on your hook. So go through, grab the yarn, come back through, and then straight through the loop on your hook. And then one more just to take us all the way to the corner. And then that's it. So we've slip stitched all the way to the corner. Now if you're just crocheting with normal yarn, you don't have to worry about this little loopy thing that I'm about to create. But this Bernay all-in-one granny square yarn, the colours are supposed to line up but they don't, so I'm just having to create a bit of a loop just so I can start the next round with the next colour. But if you're just using normal yarn you don't have to worry about that. So we're going to chain 3. So hook the yarn, pull through the loop, hook the yarn, pull through the loop. You're going to want to chain 3, and then we are ready to do our first cluster. Now on the corners you need to do 2 clusters of 3 double crochets into each corner, but I will show you that as we go along it. So here, yeah, we have 2 clusters of 3 going into each corner. This enables us to put 3 on that side, get round the corner, and then put 3 on this side to keep it square, basically. So to start our first cluster, the same way as before, double crochet, we are going to want to wrap our yarn, go through the hole, catch the yarn and bring it back to the front, wrap the yarn, pull through 2, wrap the yarn, pull through 2, and then let's do another double crochet, wrap the yarn, go through the hole, catch the yarn, pull it to the front, wrap the yarn, pull through 2, wrap the yarn, pull through 2. Now remember, our first double crochet is the chain 3, so because we've started a new round, we only need to do 2 double crochets because we have the chain 3 at the beginning acting as our first post. So let's just slide the stitches around a bit. So now we need to get around the corner, so we're going to chain 3 stitches. So wrap the yarn, pull through, wrap the yarn, pull through, so chain 3, and now we're going to do 3 more double crochets into the same hole or the same chain space. So wrap the yarn, go through the hole, hook the yarn, pull through 2 and pull through 2. So I'm doing it a bit quicker there, and once you get the motion of your hands, it's all muscle memory, isn't it? It will just flow. Now on this bit here, we've done that first corner and we need to get across the space in order to get to the other corner. And to do that, so to keep the tension nice, to keep it all square, we're just going to chain 1. And then after we've chained 1, we can start our next cluster of 3 double crochets into that corner. So we're doing 1 double crochet, 2 double crochet, 3 double crochet, and then we're at the corner again, aren't we? So we need to just slide in my stitches down. This yarn, yeah, you do have to move the plushy yarn itself. So to get round the corner, we're just going to want to chain 3. So I'm just saying here, there's methods of how you can do it, and there is a lady I've seen online, she crochets like how she knits, and she does this, and she's so quick, she's so good at doing it. I would love to be able to do it like that, but this way works for me. This is how I crochet fastest, and you'll find your way of doing it. But it is fun to see how other people crochet, and you're like, oh my god, wow, that's amazing. So here we're going to want to chain 3 to get around the corner, and then we want to do another cluster of 3 double crochets, and we're going to want to keep doing this in each corner, and I will meet you back at the beginning. So we've gone all the way around and we are back at the beginning. Don't worry about that loop that I'm creating, it's just this burner yarn. You can ignore that. And we're going to want to find the first hole again and just go through, grab the yarn, come back through to the front, and then slip off the hook. So we just want to do some slip stitches, and just to keep it nice and neat, we are going to slip stitch all the way to the corner. Now you don't have to do this. This is something that I do with this yarn to keep it neat, whereas usually you don't have to. You can so when you finish your round, you do a slip stitch there, and after the slip stitch you can just chain 3 and then chain 1 to get over to the corner, and that chain 3 that you're doing, which will be part of that light blue cluster there on the next row, your chain 3 will act as the third post in that cluster. So your chain 3, it will start at that side, so it will act as that third cluster. So when you go all the way round and you get back there, you will need to do 2 double crochets into that chain space and then just slip stitch to your first chain 3, and then that will be the 3. You will see what I mean while you're doing it, but for now follow along with what I'm doing, because it's absolutely fine to slip stitch to the corner. I find it's just a nice way of keeping your colours neat and tidy. So let's just get the hook, the loop back on my hook. Now again, if you're not using this burner yarn, you can ignore this bit. If you are using the burner yarn, the granny square yarn does not line up, and if you started to crochet now, you'd get that horrible bit that they've spliced together in your work. So I just go a couple of inches into the new colour and then bring it towards you, and then just start chaining off of that. So we're just going to chain the 3, 1, 2, 3 chains, and then what I will do at the end, I will cut these yarns at the very top, and then I will just do 3 double knots. I like to do 3. I don't like to do 2. I always like to do 3 for some reason. And it just hides it all. It just keeps it nice. You won't even know it's there. And then the same with that one. I will cut that and double knot it off. And then you can either sew the ends in, or sometimes I just cut them really short and they're fine. You can't see them from the front. Now we're going to close the magic ring, because it's got quite a big hole at the moment. You can leave the hole there if you like that look, but if you don't like the look, find the original towel and you just want to pull it until it closes the hole. Sometimes you pull it and it comes for a little bit and it feels like it's stopping, but if you pull it a little bit more, a whole load will come out. So you just want to close the hole. It doesn't need to be super tight, because you don't want to run the risk of breaking your yarn, which I have done before and it is annoying. So yeah, and we can sew that in and cut that off at the end. So there is our little square, looking very cute at the moment, looking very good. I hope this tutorial is easy to follow, and I hope you're following along with me. Now we are on the 3rd row now. So we've already chained our 3. Sorry, I'm just sorting that out. Right, so we've already chained our 3. And we're going to want to start our first double crochets to make the first cluster. Now remember, we're on a new round, so we only need to do 2 double crochets, because our first chain 3 acts as the first double crochet. That's me just pulling that yarn tight so it doesn't look messy. And then to get around the corner, we're going to want to chain 1, chain 2, chain 3, and then we can do our second cluster of 3 double crochets in this corner. So that's 1 double crochet, and then 2 double crochets, and then 1 more double crochet, now on this side and every side going forward, we've now got an extra chain space in the middle. So where we would chain 1 to get to the corner, we're going to chain 1 to get to that space. It just keeps it all nice and square and nothing's being pulled tight or stretched. So we've chained 1, and now we are going to do 3 double crochets into this chain space. So that is our first double crochet. That is our second double crochet, and that is our third double crochet. And then to get over to the corner, we are going to want to chain 1. And then in the corner space, this is where we do our 3 double crochet cluster, we chain 3, and then we do another 3 double crochet cluster in that hole, and then I will go round and then I will meet you back at the beginning. So we are back at the beginning and we just need to find a space within that first chain 3, but not forgetting to chain 1 to get across that space, and then find a hole and then do a slip stitch to join. And then I would normally slip stitch to the corner, but as you can see with this granny square yarn, sometimes it lines up, sometimes it doesn't. So here, this is what I was saying about before. So when you're normally crocheting with the same coloured yarn, this is probably more likely what you do. You'd slip stitch to join it, and then at this point you would just chain 3. So because I'm using this colour changing yarn, I'm having to loop the new colour in place, but we're going to wrap the yarn, chain 1, wrap the yarn, chain 2, wrap the yarn, chain 3. Now and then we're going to want to chain another one to get across the space, because remember what I was saying about that chain 3 acts as the 3rd post on the row above. Okay, so that is the basics of what you need to know, and every round that you do from now on, it's going to be the same thing. You're always going to chain 3 to start the next round, always going to chain 3 on the corners, do your clusters, and it's looking really good. And don't be too hard on yourself if your square doesn't look like this, if it looks a little bit messy or a little bit wonky. It's all learning. We've all been there. I'm going to carry on doing these squares because I'm making other cushions. I don't know if you've seen my previous YouTube video. I will try and put a thumbnail in here. But please watch that if you are crocheting along and crocheting a cushion. But I'm going to carry on with these because they are just so lovely to make. So thank you for watching. Thank you for watching along with me. I hope you learned something. I hope my tutorial was good. Please leave a like, leave a comment down below. Please subscribe to me if you want more crochet content, crochet tutorials. I've got some more videos coming up, and just thank you for watching, really. And I will see you next time. Thank you. Bye bye.